I'm just after getting off the phone with Daniel Kinahan. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua next year.
Despite a $5 million reward on this guy's head for the last 3 years, they cannot catch him, it seems. He tried to go legit and wash some money and had an attempt at taking over boxing with MGM, making Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua deal before everything come crashing down, and that's what we're going to get into.
The United States Department of State is pleased to announce a reward of up to $5 million.
1977. Daniel Kinahan is born June 25th in Dublin, Ireland, the eldest son of Christy Kinahan, a convicted dealer and alleged founder of the Kinahan cartel. At the age of 23, Daniel is first arrested in connection with a violent assault on 2 police officers outside Shelburne Park in Dublin. He's charged with assault and initially denied bail, but the charges are dropped in 2002. Moving on to 2007, Kinahan was reported to be part of a syndicate involving jockey Kieran Fallon, indicating early connection to illicit activities. In 2009, a US diplomat cable describes Kinahan as a suspected international drug trafficking figure, highlighting early suspicions of criminal involvement. Kinahan decides to enter the boxing world. In 2012, he co-founds MTK Global, originally named MGM, with Irish boxer Matthew Macklin in Marbella, Spain. The company grows to represent over 300 figures, including high-profile boxers like Tyson Fury, Carl Frampton and Billy Joe Saunders.
Limited edition Hublot. Press the button, Paris. There we are. Wow, look at that. It's taken out of the bar.
He is a master figure in boxing, with people like Tyson Fury shouting him out for making the AJ fight. In 2015, Kinahan is accused by a Spanish police officer in Marbella court of ordering the murder of gang rival Gary Hutch, escalating the Kinahan-Hutch gang feud, which has led to 18 deaths by 2021.
It's not like they're just gang members going out and killing one another, and that was always our perception of it, because it's always part of this Hutch-Kinahan crime war. That's what we were always thinking. But they were bringing in hired killers, professional killers, Stephen, to do their bidding.
Yeah, that was part of their whole modus operandi at that time when the Kinahans were targeting members of the Hutch family, associates of the Hutch crime gang. They wanted to recruit people because they had the money to do so. They brought in people from overseas. They brought in people who had served in the British Army.
They bugged cars in some situations. In other ones, they're just following these guys wherever they go, who they're associating with. But the bugging devices gave a real insight into some of the murder operations and the murder plots, because you got to hear about the money that was being offered in some of them. So in one situation, we heard 100 grand being offered to kill, between 3 men being offered to kill a Hutch associate.
His gang life crosses over into the boxing world on February 5th, 2016. Kinahan is the apparent target of an assassination attempt during a weigh-in for Clash of the Clans, a boxing event at the Regency Hotel in Dublin. Co-promoted by MTK Global and Frank Warren's Queensberry Promotions, gunmen killed 1 man and injured 2 others, sparking a gangland feud linked to multiple deaths.
The Hutch gang entered the Regency Hotel, dressed as emergency response Gardaí, equipped with AK-47s. One of the gang, male, dressed as a woman, with another man had been on a flat cap, entering through a different entrance, carrying handguns.
The man in drag and Kevin Flatcap Murray enter the hotel and begin searching for Daniel Kinahan. Shots are fired in the lobby and people began to flee the hotel. Senior Kinahan Lieutenant David Byrne is seen here running away from the lobby, but he turns back towards the main entrance. He is spotted by one of the men disguised as an ERU officer. Byrne is shot and wounded. As the other gunmen enter the lobby, Byrne is shot again. The gang continue to sweep the hotel in search of Daniel Kinahan. The man in drag is overheard saying, "I can't find him. I don't know where he is." The gang then make their escape. David Byrne is shot again as the gang exit the hotel. Byrne was shot up to 6 times in the head, face and stomach. Patrick Hutch was put on trial for the murder of David Byrne at the Regency Hotel, but the trial ultimately collapsed and the charges against Patrick Hutch were dropped.
Things got bad as MTK Global claims to sever ties with Kinahan following the Regency Hotel shooting, though he remains influential in boxing, advising fighters like Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was struggling with depression, drugs and weight gain after his 2015 victory over Vladimir Klitschko, and he began his comeback in Marbella with MTK Global, and Kinahan is credited with helping Fury return to boxing and acting as an advisor and facilitating his signing with MTK Global.
So, I have to do it to myself and get it off by myself.
This is where Fury began to piece his life back together. Macklin's Gym Marbella, or MGM.
I'm going to prove the world wrong yet again. They didn't give me a prayer last time, and a lot of people are not even giving me a prayer to lose a weight, but I will do it. 100%.
At MGM, Tyson Fury began working with the gym's co-founder, Irish expat Daniel Kinahan.
And Tyson Fury was starting to get backlash for associating with him.
Final one from me. I'm sure you saw the news last week that Daniel Kinahan was sanctioned by the US government, somebody you've worked with. I just wanted to get your thoughts on when you saw that.
Sorry, I didn't hear any of that. Someone bought it
Sanctioning of Daniel Kinahan. Just your thoughts when you saw it.
Yeah, again, I've said this to quite a few people this week. I don't get involved in other people's businesses, and I keep mine to myself, and that's it. What other people do in their lives, I've got my own troubles and my own problems to work on myself with a wife and 6 kids, so I keep my business to myself.
Will you still be working together?
Sorry?
Describe your relationship with Daniel.
Sorry?
How would you describe your relationship with Daniel?
The man's been a boxing fan. Not much more I can say. There's not much more of a relationship. There is none.
2018, Kinahan is banned from entering the United States, placed on a list of narco-terrorists by the FBI and NDA, along with 27 associates, his father Christy and his brother Christopher Jr. MTK Global moves its headquarters to Dubai, where Kinahan is based, and continues to grow in influence under its new CEO, a friend of Kinahan's, despite claims of severed ties. So in 2019, Kinahan negotiates a deal with Top Rank, a major US boxing promoter, to secure Tyson Fury fights, including a rematch with Deontay Wilder. Top Rank's agent Billy Keane alleges in a 2025 lawsuit that Kinahan was paid millions under the table as an exclusive consultant and personally guaranteed Fury's fees. The deal was allegedly kept secret from ESPN to avoid scrutiny over Kinahan's criminal reputation. Top Rank reportedly pays Kinahan 1.5 to 2 million in consultancy fees for each of the 4 Tyson Fury fights against Deontay Wilder twice, Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallen between 2019 and 2021, funneled through Hoopay Sports, a UAE-based company linked to Kinahan. June 10th, 2020, Tyson Fury publicly thanked Kinahan for brokering a 2-fight deal with Anthony Joshua, said to be the biggest fight in British boxing history. Fury posted a video on his Instagram praising Kinahan and drawing significant attention and criticism. The Irish government expressed outrage, and the Department of Foreign Affairs contacts the UAE authorities about Kinahan and his stays in Dubai.
Hello there. I'm just after getting off the phone with Daniel Kinahan. He's just informed me that the biggest fight in British boxing history has just been agreed. Get up there, my boy! Big shout.
Getting the big name boxer Tyson Fury in the UK with reputation was a big part of this. It filtered down. Many people was joining MTK Global because the big stars were a part of it. And there was accusations that they were washing their illegitimate money through boxing to make it legitimate.
After you left, Barry, you signed up with a company called MTK.
Yeah.
Now, MTK was founded by Kinahan, the drug dealer.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I knew who it was founded by, yeah.
Why did you join them?
Well, at the stage...
That was a risky thing to do, wasn't it?
Well, I don't think it was. MTK at that time were probably the biggest... I mean, they were involved with every promoter on the planet. Top Rank, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, Frank Warren. They had some of the big fighters like Fury on their books.
In June, it was said that KHK Sports appoints Kinahan as a special advisor but drops him shortly after due to public backlash over his alleged criminal ties. June 24th, Fury's US promoter Bob Arum claims Fury has ended his professional relationship with Kinahan, but states that Fury still loves and admires and respects him. The Fury-Joshua deal collapsed after a ruling forces Fury to face Deontay Wilder instead. Kinahan is then named at the Irish court as a senior figure in the Kinahan organised crime group involving global drug and firearm trafficking linked to execution-type murders. In 2022, February, Fury is photographed with Kinahan in Dubai. By March, the World Boxing Council WBC President Mauricio Solomon publicly supports Kinahan, praising his contributions to boxing and dismissing the allegations of prejudice. This is him having involvement of top people in boxing that distribute the belts and the ranking systems. Daniel Kinahan, a guy with a drug background, was making his way through boxing with a massive reputation. This guy had to backtrack later on these comments when we're going to get into what we're going to get into.
Reiterate to our viewers pretty much what you said in the statement and your feelings on the subject.
Well, I just felt it was necessary to clarify that neither the WBC nor me or anyone from the WBC has had or has any dealings with Daniel Kinahan. I met him in Dubai as a boxing person. I met with him and I met with 100 people. So every trip I have many meetings and many plans, many ideas, and I just wanted to clarify that absolutely we represent the world of boxing and we follow and respect the law of every single country.
Now, you didn't know who he was. Do you feel he knew who you were? Do you feel he did this intentionally to promote himself?
I don't know. That's a speculation. So I don't know. I don't think that's necessary to even talk about. I just made an innocent mistake of expressing support of plans that were presented, but basically there's nothing to hide. There's nothing. There's no news.
Would you like to see him now distanced from boxing?
I mean, this is something that is completely outside of the ring.
In April, the US imposes sanctions to Kinahan, his father and brother, along with 4 associates, offering a $5 million reward for information leading to their arrest or conviction for drug smuggling and money laundering. The Kinahan organised crime group is accused of trafficking drugs and firearms across Europe, Asia and the Middle East and South America.
Daniel Kinahan, his father Christy Sr. and brother Christy Jr. and 4 others have been named as key members of the group. Let's go live now to Dublin City Hall, where a briefing ended a short time ago, to our news correspondent Richard Chambers. And Richard, these international moves really are unprecedented.
They certainly are, Colette. There is no overstating the importance of today's joint announcement by Irish, US and UK authorities. The US government has today effectively declared war on the Kinahan organised crime group, imposing sanctions against them. And to underline their importance and the seriousness with which they're treating the Kinahan group, they have imposed a $5 million bounty effectively for information which could see them brought to justice. The US government today in a briefing posted online detailing their concerns and information about the Kinahan group, saying that they want the 3 key figures, the leaders of the Kinahan group as they described them, brought to justice, including Christy Kinahan Sr., described as the founder of the group, his son Daniel Kinahan, described in the High Court as the controller and manager of the organised crime group, and Christy Kinahan Jr. Now, they have ended up on a list of sanctions alongside Russian oligarchs, terror groups and foreign regimes considered hostile to the United States and considered a threat to US national security. A dramatic moment here at City Hall not too long ago when the US ambassador to Ireland, Claire Cronin, effectively spelled out that these are wanted men.
MTK Global announces it will cease operations due to scrutiny following a US sanction on Kinahan, but reiterating he had no involvement since 2017 in a statement. Tyson Fury, ahead of his fight with Dillian Whyte shortly after, is questioned about his ties to Kinahan. He dismissed the issue as none of his business, emphasising his focus on boxing and distancing himself from Kinahan, stating he had no business dealings with him for a long time.
As I said, will you be severing all ties with him?
You know, what the US have said, and that's it. We have to listen to the government, and that's what we do. End of. Because I don't want to get in trouble with the US government, which I've never have been, and that's it.
So you won't be dealing with him business-wise going forward?
I haven't done any dealing business with him in the last for a long time. I think there was a statement released in 2020, so that was the end of the business. The fight with Joshua didn't happen, and that was it.
But Bob Arum said that he'd made more than $1 million from
I've
4
seen
of
that.
your fights.
Yeah.
So he was involved in those fights.
What Bob Arum does with his own money is Bob Arum's business. If he goes and spends it on gummy bears, a can of pop, I don't care what he does with it.
On June 18th, reports emerged that Tommy Fury is refused entry into the US due to his links with Kinahan. Promoter Frank Warren disputes this, but the US had barred over 600 individuals linked to the Kinahan cartel from entry. In October, the Irish High Court, in its Criminal Assets Bureau, states the Kinahan sanctioned murders in the Kinahan-Hutch feud, with seized properties deemed proceeds of crime. Now, moving on to the more recent stuff on this case, April 2024, Bob Arum, Fury's promoter, calls Kinahan a super conman and a dirty, claiming he was deceived by Kinahan's charm and paid him up to $8 million in fees.
And Bob, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about all this stuff going on. To echo some of the sentiments I see from journalists and from people online, social media, their feeling is, why were you working with MTK Daniel Kinahan if it's known by a lot of people that he was a very questionable individual, and things like that? What is your response to the criticism?
Well, MTK, we did work with them. And Kinahan had told us that while years ago he may have done things wrong, he was reformed, and his involvement in boxing would demonstrate that he was reformed. We have since learned that that isn't the case, at least as far as the U.S. charges are concerned.
Arum warns others in the boxing to avoid Kinahan, alleging he tried to poach staff and fighters. On October 11th, the manhunt for Kinahan intensified, with the arrest of associates Sean McGovern in Dubai, wanted for the 2016 murder of Noel Kirwan. A Gardner commissioner, Drew Harris, urges Kinahan's inner circle to claim the $15 million US reward and witness protection for information leading to his conviction, along with his father and brother, but Kinahan still remains at large.
Every year, millions of lives are affected by transnational organizations, including through drugs, violence, firearm deaths, and human trafficking and smuggling. And so today, the United States Department of State is pleased to announce a reward of up to $5 million for information leading to the financial disruption of the KTCO or the arrest and convictions of its leaders.
Obviously, there is a massive reward in the millions, but over $1 billion in wealth was generated through all these different companies they set up. They had the sports management side of things and other companies they set up to try and wash their illegitimate money, is what is claimed by the US.
Well as 3 companies, including an alcoholic beverage company based in the United Kingdom and a sports management company based in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Now, authorities here today saying that the Kinahan crime cartel has effectively made over €1 billion in wealth off the revenue of drugs trafficking and firearms trafficking, and they are currently beyond the reach of extradition, the apex of the group, the Kinahans, in the United Arab Emirates. But the message from all of the authorities here today is that justice will not stop in searching to bring these people before the courts.
A lawsuit is filed by Billy Keane against Top Rank, alleging that Kinahan was secretly paid millions to promote Fury fight and act as a guarantor, with Top Rank's president allegedly hiding a deal from ESPN and CEO Bob Arum to avoid scrutiny.
As of today, the Kinahan Transnational Criminal Organization joins the ranks of Italy's Camorra, Mexico's Los Zetas, Japan's Yakuza, and Russia's thieves-in-law.
To them, I'd say you can run, but you can't hide from justice forever. And from today, they will be running low on money, friends, and influence.
State Department, Homeland Security, from the UK, the National Crime Agency, Europol, as well as Gardaí. And what these sanctions will effectively do is tell the Kinahans that the United States is closed for business from them. It tells businesses and financial institutions right around the world that these are marked by the United States and you should not engage with them.
Daniel Kinahan was going to speak for the first time on a podcast called James English. A trailer came out, but he didn't end up releasing it.
For me, the media manipulates everyone. They create the reality for people for the future, for what they want to think, how they sleep, what they eat, what they buy.
This is an update on the Daniel Kinahan podcast, the 3-hour world exclusive with one of the most powerful men in boxing that was due to be released on St Paddy's Day. I'm sad to inform has now been pulled, as I've been dealt with some legal issues and after getting some legal advice have been told not to show this interview. It's a blatant attack on my freedom of speech and Daniel.
March 2022, Thomas Kavanagh, a senior figure in the Kinahan cartel, accused of running UK operations, is sentenced to 21 years in prison for conspiring to traffic over 30 million euros of cocaine and cannabis. Associates Gary and Daniel received 20 and 19 years respectively for drug dealing and money laundering. The National Crime Agency highlights Kavanagh's high-ranking role in the cartel.
Kavanagh was awaiting trial for drug trafficking. He told the UK's National Crime Agency where guns were hidden, and the PSNI found 11 guns, including submachine guns and assorted ammunition, in a spot he'd indicated in Newry. But when the NCA reviewed messages that had been sent on the encrypted EncroChat platform, previously cracked by the French police, they discovered it was a plot, and that Kavanagh, Byrne and Kent and others had actually organised to gather and stash the guns themselves for the purposes of trying to get Kavanagh a reduced sentence. The NCA withdrew their cooperation, and Kavanagh was ultimately jailed for 21 years for drug trafficking.
A couple months after the US sanctions, an Irish national suspected of money laundering for the Kinahan cartel is arrested in Spain alongside his wife and associate. The NCA supports the operation, targeting a network using companies in the UK and Spain to disguise the illicit earning. October 2022, the head of Drugs and Organised Crime Bureau states in this affidavit that Daniel Kinahan sanctioned multiple murders during the Hutchin-Kinahan feud, supporting Criminal Assets Bureau and their case to seize properties leaked to crime proceeds. February 2024, an ally of Daniel Kinahan is sentenced to life in Amsterdam for 6 murders. Arrested in Dubai in 2019, and he was a guest at Kinahan's 2017 wedding. In March 2024, a US court rules a judgment against Daniel Kinahan in a civil RICO case filed by boxing manager Moses, who seeks up to 15 million damages for Kinahan allegedly poaching boxer Jojo Diaz. The case highlights Kinahan's use of MTK Global as a front for laundering drug money. October 2024, Sean McGovern, Daniel Kinahan's right-hand man, is arrested in Dubai following an Irish extradition request supported by Interpol Red Notice. He faces charges for a 2016 murder and directing a criminal organisation. This marks a significant breakthrough, with the Irish police hoping it signals the UAE and Dubai cooperation against the Kinahan. Thomas Kavanagh receives an additional 6 years, and Liam Bryan, his brother-in-law, is sentenced to 5 years for a failed plot to plant weapons to deceive the NCA into reducing Kavanagh's drug smuggling sentence. An extradition treaty is being spoken about. The Irish justice system travels to Abu Dhabi to sign an extradition treaty with the UAE, potentially enabling future arrests of Kinahan leaders. Sources suggest Kinahan's protected by Russian mafia contracts, and there is concerns that he may flee to Russia. In 2025 now, the Irish government are expressing confidence that 2025 could see Daniel Kinahan charged with murder and directing a crime gang, following the submission of files to the Director of Public Prosecutions regarding the 2016 murder of Eddie Hutch. The extradition treaty and McGovern's arrest increased pressure of the Kinahans in Dubai. Sean McGovern is extradited from the UAE to Ireland, arriving on an Irish aircraft. He faces 5 charges, including murder and directing a criminal organisation related to the Kinahans cartel activities. This is seen as a major step forward dismantling the cartel, with sources suggesting Daniel Kinahan is next. Right now, as I'm making this video, there's lots of speculation about where the Kinahan cartel are going to relocate to after their people are being extradited from Dubai. It's not safe for them. There's locations near Saudi Arabia and obviously the Russia option as well.